Hello everyone, I'm Ross Dominy and welcome back to the Shadowgraph show. We don't choose the worlds that we're born into, and some of us feel out of place from the very start. But sometimes, in the cracks of that world, light shines through. For me, it was the lens of a camera. And in this video, I want to show you how filmmaking can be much more than art. It can be a way to rebuild yourself. Crisis and the early years of life. Did you ever feel that you didn't fit into the mold that they were forcing you into? I want to rewind back to my school years where I struggled a lot with dyslexia. I was often told while studying or trying to study that I was distracted, and I was made to feel very stupid with all of my academic subjects. I was lucky in school to have a good group of friends and have lots and lots of fun. But in my personal inner world, I constantly felt like I wasn't the same as my peers. In our Western world, the school system is so behind in the development that it should give to children. This should be a nourishing learning space where we accept and understand that people learn at different paces. This exclusion from being a part of the group's intellectual experience at school was something that chipped away at my self-confidence. This is not only my story though. This school experience happens for people all over the world, and we have to change the way in which we think about education. There was a crack for me within this locked confusion of my school years. It was a video camera, what I'm filming on today and what is my holy tool for my job that has completed me as a person. Finding the video camera for me was a new literacy outside of textbooks that allowed me to express myself and to feel that I was doing something different and that I could give myself confidence and faith in finding how I would make my own intellectual mark when all of my peers seemed to be doing so well with the academic subjects at school. It was like a savior, a therapy, a way to go out, explore, get into trouble and bring back films that would make my schoolmates laugh and that we could also ultimately make projects with together. It was a time of experimentation and a saviour from the rigidness of the academic world that was all around me in school. And this should be a concept that is supported for all of us in our learning years. It doesn't have to only stay at school. Maybe you're in a job that you don't like and you want to change the way in which you feel about the world and how you express and communicate yourself. By having a video camera and learning the craft and going out there and exploring these different forms of narrative, it can start to build you in a different way as a person. And I really believe that this is about light cracking through a way in which you are previously formed and showing you different ways to see the world and grow as a person. So I want you to ask yourself, what's the creative tool that gives you a sense of freedom? Can creativity become your way of fighting back against a world that doesn't understand you? When you find the tools, so for example here is a video camera, maybe it's a small camera for photography, how can these vehicles be a way for you to prove your vision to the world? Everyone has a unique vision. This is such a special, beautiful and honourable thing to have. And this can be a way for you to gain confidence and for you to understand that there are multiple different ways to communicate. That's not only the way that's told to you at school or in your job that perhaps you're not super satisfied with. How can these tools make you fight back? These tools can energize you, expand your mind, take you into the worlds of new people and aesthetics, and make you grow as a creative and philosophical person. Now, I don't say philosophical from an egotistical point of view, but when we look at life, life is full of multiple dimensions, and there are so many different sides to a story. By choosing the right creative craft, you can unpick these layers, and it can really change you as a person in the way in which you perceive information. I've always said with filmmaking that it's a great way for you to read about a subject, so you study the theory, you find something that you're deeply passionate about, And then with a video camera, you can go into the real world and find those subjects and worlds that you've read about and experience them as a physical reality. This merging of the physical and theoretical is an awesome way to expand as a person. I am so happy that my video camera can give me this expansive experience, and it can do exactly the same for you. So how I want to close this first part of the video is that a creative tool such as a camera can be a lifeline against a system that you feel doesn't represent you. This is what I learned in my schooling years. I was so lucky to find the video camera, and it was a way for me to feel that I had a purpose and a way for myself to communicate. A mentor is a holy savior who can support you and guide you by holding your hand into the process of learning. I didn't do A-levels at school, and I went straight to college, taking a leap of faith to study photography. I had no idea how this was going to work out in reality, but I was super lucky to meet an amazing teacher, a photographer called Rod Morris, who literally showed me the light with image making. I was so inspired to go and study in a subject that I finally 100% passionately loved and cared about, and I was made to realize that this form of expression with image making could be the same as writing essays, exploring histories in time, getting into politics. It took me into this infinite world of learning. After you've gone through the mode of finding your creative tool of expression, it's really important to find a mentor, someone who has experience with the craft that you love and want to get into, and someone who is kind and understanding, who will guide you through the experience that they already know in life through this creative craft, and they can pass on the knowledge to you. They are essentially guiding you along the path and making you feel that you can do it yourself. Having a mentor further cracked open these doors for me and let light flood in for the creative opportunities of how I could explore the world with a camera. So have you had someone who's come into your life and who's believed in you when others haven't? A mentor should be a kind person who's understanding and who's willing to guide you through this process, because they take satisfaction of sharing the knowledge that they know. Through a mentor, guidance can give you confidence, but the deeper message of this is that once you can stand on your own 2 feet, it's you realizing that you can do this all by yourself. Okay, the next stage, breaking away, the chaos of trials. Filmmaking allowed me to break free from the social restrictions that were put on me at school. I was lucky after this to find a mentor who further developed my image making craft. Now we're in the really exciting phase, the chaotic one of exploration. As a young dude, I had the whole world in front of me as my oyster. I had my camera by my side, and this was an amazing time of experimentation and going out and exploring the world. So this filmmaking phase in my early years was full of blissful and beautiful chaos. It was about capturing fragments of protests all over the world. It was about communicating political struggles that I experienced on the street, using the video camera as a tool to capture them, and then editing them into quick turnaround packages that could go out and be seen by the world. This fast-lived, fast-paced adrenaline world took me everywhere. So once you have found your craft and you go out for further exploration, it's really important to embrace the chaos in this phase. I really feel that you should fill yourself up with as many experiences as possible and just tick off the kind of excited feeling of life and of going into all these different worlds and experiences and topping yourself up. A really healthy sign for when you've been doing this is when you find yourself daydreaming in peaceful situations, when you find yourself reflecting back on the experiences of where your craft has taken you. It's almost as if you're in a lucid dream, and it's a way for you to reflect inside your head and make worlds out of these experiences. But what I want to say for this section is that when you're at that stage in your creative journey, I think it's so important to fill the jug up full of experiences, because when you come to later stages of your creative life, you can put this experience into different forms of narrative. Plateau and reflection. This is the stage when you realize you are overwhelmed by all the experiences that you've had. You are burnt out. Maybe you realize this at the time, or maybe you don't. What's happened is that your creative tools have taken you into so many experiences that your senses are overwhelmed. You need to respect these experiences, because if you have too many of them in too short an amount of time, they lose their value in where they sit within your conscious and subconscious mind. This part of the process, it's really important for you to step back and to rest, and to use, for example, the journaling process to gather your thoughts and experiences, and for you to process the things that you've filmed as well. It's about looking through the footage that you captured, writing down the memories, and kind of finding a way to compartmentalize those experiences. So, do you allow yourself to pause and reflect, or do you feel guilty that you are not taking part in creative work? Well, this guilt is a natural feeling that you can get sometimes if you're a creative person, but my philosophy is that if you're creating work when you're burnt out, the work will not be to its strongest capability. So no, you're not missing out. What the world needs is for you to be a powered up and strong creative person, and sometimes that strength comes, much like a camera battery, when it's charged up. Don't burn out without realizing it, and if you have burnt out, take a rest. Mastery. Returning with wisdom. What happens in this phase when you align experience with discipline? This is the road to mastery. If you can merge these two worlds together through patience and repetition, you are in a really good creative phase of your journey. So with your craft, as you move through different stages of life, what comes after the chaotic stage of self-exploration is a new phase of mature discipline through repetitious creative action. What do I mean by this? Well, you look back on the jug that you filled in your earlier years with experiences around the world, and now you use those experiences in a more mature way. So for example, when you're editing longer films that are a little bit more complicated with their narratives, good editing comes from discipline that you set yourself, and this discipline is a mass load of repetitive actions that you do over and over again until you come out with a film that is complex in the way in which it transfers information. This is a maturity in the way that you tell stories. You have to ask yourself, what is the difference between dabbling in lots of different projects and saying, no, I'm focusing on this one project and I'm not available to start new things. I'm going to see this project through to the end. This is maturity in your creative self-expression. So you have to ask yourself, what projects in your life are asking for your full attention and are asking for you to complete it? This phase is about focus and about getting things done. Often we think with creative work, we pre-imagine what the end product is going to be like, and we get dissatisfied about this long and grueling process of going through editing, of twisting the film or the narrative in all these different directions, of being frustrated at ourselves that it's taking us all this time and we still haven't finished the project. You have to remind yourself in this stage that joy is in the journey. Stick to it. Good things take time. This for me is maturity. It's the unity of chaos and discipline, and it's a blissful stage of your creative journey. So in this film, we've covered crisis to chaos to discipline to mastery. This is what happened to me, And if you are starting out or you feel in your life you're in this mode of crisis where you need a change, I can guarantee you that by bearing this philosophy in mind, it will empower you as a creative person. Filmmaking for me was a form of empowerment. It was a way for me to reclaim confidence, to go out and explore the world and to meet new people. So I want you to ask yourself, where are you within your creative mythology? The most beautiful realization I've had with my work is that I'll never ever stop learning. But what I have learned is that through these different stages, I've got to a more peaceful realization with the possibilities of how I can grow with my work. So what medium could empower you the way that film has empowered me? Thanks for tuning in, and see you for the next Shadowgraph episode.